Good morning, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for more post-ban legacy. And I know everyone is really pumped about this content. My videos have been doing really well this week as people are excited and sort of reinvigorated by this more new and open format. Today we're going to be playing with Ian M's donation deck list, which is a Bant Soulherder deck. I'm going to call this a Bant deck. Like, there's Plague Engineer in here. That's a very, 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 very light splash. We have a single Bayou over here to cast that. We're at heart a Bant deck here. You can call us 4-color if you want, but it's one relatively broken card. We'll forgive that. All right, so what's the general strategy here? We're kind of like Esper Vial, but a little bit different. The general engine is still built around Soulherder, which lets you blink your stuff and eventually make a giant threat while grinding out a huge amount of value. But sort of unlike that deck, we're in green so that we can do Eternal Witness shenanigans. So Eternal Witness is not a card that's typically played in Legacy. Every once in a while, you'll see it in something like a Nick Fit deck, where like it's a Green Sun target, but here we're just playing it outright. And the reason is so that we can recycle it, and we can do really cute things with Ephemerate. So Ephemerate lets you blink a creature, and it has rebound, so you get to blink it again next turn. You can go Ephemerate something else, Eternal Witness, get back the Ephemerate, and then like create a pseudo ridiculous loop. Otherwise, we have new Legacy All-Star Skyclave Apparition here as kind of a generic answer to everything. Before I get going, I want to voice a concern that I have with this deck list. I don't know that this deck list is interactive enough in the early game. In the early game, if our opponent does something that we care about, if it's a creature, we have 4 Swords to Plowshares that are on early. And if it's a spell, we have 5 pieces of free counter magic, and the Force of Wills can also interact with creatures. But now that Astrolabe's gone, Icefang Coatl isn't on until turn 3. And so this isn't like super early creature removal. It's still a very good card. But I'm a little concerned that we don't have enough early game and we have too much late game. When I look at this column of 14 3-drops, it makes me a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie. Right now, this might be okay in like this new like wide open Legacy format, but I am definitely a little bit scared going into this league that I'm going to die a lot in game 1 before I do anything meaningful. I think this problem is fixed a bit in the post-sideboard games, because we have things like Carpet of Flowers to give us additional acceleration, and we have like more counter spells and Meddling Mage and Needle and Rest in Peace, so we have more early plays. But I am definitely a little worried that we're gonna have too many clunker hands. The other thing I am slightly nervous about is the mana base. So we have just a couple of dual lands and a whole lot of basics. And so there's definitely going to be games where we draw like Forest, Island, and have like Recruiters and Skyclaves and Swords to Plowshares. Oh. Hello, Nathan. I assume Nathan is wanting to do a donation deck list here. I'm going to pause this for the YouTube folks. All right. Anyway, so I think the sideboard is going to help address some of my concerns with this deck list. We'll go and see how this feels in action, but I'm definitely concerned that we want something like, say, Meddling Mage in the main deck that can help us deal with combo a little bit better in game 1. Harley Quinn, thank you very much for your support today. I very much appreciate it. All right, for those of you watching on YouTube, I hope you're enjoying the new legacy comment. If you're excited about any brews or you've been having fun success with things, throw it in the comments, and please consider liking the video if you want to see more legacy content in the future and you want to get my video on more eyes. It means a lot to me as a creator. All right, my round one hand is fine but unexciting. Like we have a turn 1 and turn 2 play if I'm willing to use this brainstorm on turn 1. I'm not sure if I am. It'll kind of depend on what I see from my opponent. Alright, so this makes me think either a Rug Delver or like Bug Delver list, or maybe Blue-Green Show and Tell. Alright, I now have all of my lands. I'm going to lead on Island, and I'm probably going to brainstorm at my opponent's end step in hopes of catching a Daze. I also don't need this draw step stop. Slow Blow, thank you very much for following. Okay, maybe a 4-color control deck then. Now that I'm not expecting Daze anymore, I'm probably not going to blow this brainstorm early. Well, nice to see you. It's not up yet, but I recently played on the Legacy Pit, and I had some really ridiculous matches there. Oh, alright, we have the Soulherder. That's great. And a piece of protection. That's even better. My opponent is stuck on land, which is great for me. Am I willing to just jam a Soulherder this turn? I don't really have that many great 2-mana plays that I can brainstorm into. Like, it's just more Ice Fangs. So I think I am going to go ahead and jam Soulherder. Alright, let's always yield to that. Let's always yield to this. I feel so safe now. Still feel so safe. Also, I think we're playing against a Storm deck now. We can steal game 1 versus Storm. That would be fantastic. That also makes sense why my opponent missed land drop 3. Green's probably for Veil of Summer. Honestly, most of this stuff is kind of poopy. This Vial is way too slow at this point. I'm gonna put that back, and then probably just a land. Alright. think I'm gonna go ahead and just blink that. Ether Vial is back. Guess I'll be playing that this turn. Still have Reflector Mage to pitch to Force of Will, so I think I can go ahead and ponder and look for another counter spell. None of those things are counter spells. Play Engineer is not a terrible draw. I can at least put that on Goblin if things go south. Oh, Spatula, we absolutely feel liberated. It's been very refreshing. You know I have Force of Will! You know I have Force of Will. Oh, okay, they have Echo. I see. So, if I let Burning Wish resolve, they probably get Goblins. Right? 9 mana. They use 4 of it, make a bunch of Goblins, and then Echo afterwards, leaving some mana floating. They get like a Passion Flames, things could get a little weird. Alright. I'll let it resolve. Here into the Abyss. Alright. So, I really need to counter this, but they still have 3 mana floating, so it's going to be a gamble as to whether or not I actually get another counter spell. Sick art? Yeah, it's, oh no, we did not draw stuff. At this point, this card is probably worth... Oh, okay, so I have to cast this. Jesus. Alright. I have so many things to always yield to. Alright. I don't have a... I don't have a Meddling Mage here, which would probably win this game more or less on the spot. Uh, so instead... I guess I'm brainstorming maybe twice looking for counter spells. Eh. Yeah, this is game 1. I don't have any bears. Alright. Goodbye Ether Vial, and I guess goodbye Swords to Plowshares. Oh, I see. Like, Sword Splasher is my own Soulherder if things get tight. Yeah, I guess that's a line. Guess Brainstorm first. Eh. Go back Island. Skyclave. I'll ponder. Hmm. And Eternal Witness back a Force of Will right now. Any order shuffle. Yes. Okay, I found a Force of Will. That's great. Oh. I'm gonna go ahead and ephemerate now. Alright, now I just have one forest left. I can't do anything with that. Crash in. Garden Ether Vial, and from there, I don't think it matters much what I discard. I don't remember how many fetchable sources I have left, but it's not a lot. Yeah, I think there's an island left as the only fetchable land. Yeah, Kells, I'd say there's a chance right now, but I'd also say that my opponent is the favored one. They're on 7 fresh cards and only need to get through 1 piece of disruption. Actually, no, there's a second forest in this list, I believe. So my opponent has used 1 Burning Wish already. They've used their main deck Echo. They've used their sideboarded Pure. I might be in better shape than I think I am. This resolves, it takes my Force of Will. And it lets my opponent that I have Plague Engineer. I think I'm going to Force of Will this. It costs me 1 life and adds 1 Storm, which isn't great. But I think increases the chance that Plague Engineer wins me this game. Oh, I like that my opponent is cantripping. I do have lethal on board. Whiskade Jack, thank you very much for following. Whew. Welcome. Which donation deck list is yours? I've got 5 or 6 things in the queue currently. Insert so. Thank you very much for following as well. Yes. 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 Oh yeah. So the Solemnity Lands deck is really neat. Um, Brian, Bosch and Roll on YouTube played a very different take on that yesterday. So I'm excited to try out your version. From here we have a bunch of like maybes. Like surgicals and rest in pieces are going to fall into the maybe category. And with Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle for Wish Claw is like a thing. You can use this to get LEDs and totems too. Yep, apple pies, that is exactly it. There's a box below like the video feed that has the details. Alright. I don't like Reflector Mage. I feel like Eternal Witness is slow. I don't really like Swords to Plowshares, but I probably need to keep 1 or 2 in respect of like Xantid Swarm and Hope of Girapur. Jeez, I feel so slow. Is Night of Autumn just better Skyclave Apparition? Night of Autumn might be better Skyclave Apparition. Same true of Deputy of Detention. Is white-blue easier than white-white? Probably. That also pitches the Force of Will. I mean, I do love seeing some spice. Got something pretty hot lined up for tomorrow night. Um, Back in the pre-ban days, the donation was originally for a Miracles deck that featured, what is it, Trade Routes, I think is the thing that lets you bounce your lands. And now that we've had bans, it was switched to a black-green aggro Nick Fit deck with, what is it, Elder Gargaloth, I think. So I'm excited to try that out. I have to think about my lands. I think I'm just getting non-basics this game. Icefang Coatl doesn't really need whatchamacallit. Got touch. How do I feel about just lands? Just lands are not overly exciting. I do need the 3rd land, but I don't know that I want 2 of these cards. Alright, that was bottom there, which is good news for me. So this Flooded Strand is going to get Tundra, and that leaves me without a way to get Plague Engineer. I think I should have played Flooded Strand on turn 1 if it was going to fetch Tropical Island. That's something that I realized immediately after I did it. I was treating myself as a 3-color mana base, but I'm a 4-color mana base. I'm putting no pressure on my opponent. I don't feel like I have quite enough hate in my deck to be favored here. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, Delver of some flavor or another is going to be good, and then there's going to be some good Uro deck. I don't love this Burning Wish resolving. I'm gonna Ice Fang Coatl first and get some information. Alright, that's a land for Plague Engineer. I have the ability to counter something here that just can't be veiled. A Flooded Strand doesn't fetch something for Plague Engineer, does it? Eh. Eh. Let me just confirm. It's just Bayou, right? It's just Bayou? Yeah, alright. So the 4th color has bitten me in the butt a bit here. So this turn is super awkward because now if I cantrip with Ice Fang Coatl, I can't actually cantrip into a blue card. And Force of Will simultaneously. Can hit Pithing Needle. Yeah, wow, this turn's really bad. Like, really bad. 4-3? Yikes. Yeah, I think I just need to hope that they don't have another payoff card here. And that I get a little bit more time to sculpt. Man, my opponent is thinking. I don't like that. Uh-oh. Doomsday? You got me. you got me. Wow. Alright, my opponent has resolved Doomsday. Favorable wins, that sounds right. Okay. So now I need to figure out how on earth I beat Athasa's Oracle. It doesn't matter if I kill it. I can find my one of Meddling Mage, and that's like super lol. My opponent has to win next turn. I think my turn starts here. How do I feel about Brainstorm? I can Brainstorm with Tropical Island after fetching. And that allows me to draw into Meddling Mage and play Meddling Mage. And if that doesn't work, I leave up Swords to Plowshares. I think that's fine. I'll believe it when I see it. Oh, God, Streamer has plan. Plan is good. Streamer doesn't do plan. Classic. Classic Phil shit right there. Alright. Got distracted by the comments about the color pie. I mean, Big Diesel, I said I was going to fetch first, and then I just didn't because I looked at chat and started answering a question. No, it's okay. Like that's just the life of like streaming, right? Like you talk through a line, you explain yourself, and then like there's a shiny pebble in the corner of the room, and you forget what you were doing. That seems a little extreme. I don't think Adam Sandler's been funny in a long time. He had a good run. All right, that's Athas's Oracle. That resolves. All Swords to Plowshares it. Do I win? Did I get there despite my egregious misplay? So the Thassa's Oracle is in exile, right? So I'm good. Man, my opponent had a Tendrils in hand for the backup line. That is sick as hell. Holy crap. I am super impressed by my opponent's pile there. Like, they made something that could Thassa's Oracle and then have a Storm finish, too. Like, my opponent played their Doomsday pile so well. Like, I have mad respect for that line. Like, wow. Alright, I have lands and spells, so I'll be keeping this hand. But again, I feel like I'm a little light on 2-drops. I'm not exaggerating here. I don't know that I cast my Ponder on turn 1, because I don't know what I'm looking for to play on turn 2. And I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing in the match yet, so I'm just going to pass. And notably, right now in Legacy, I don't really think not playing a cantrip is super acceptable. But I just, like, don't know what I'm doing with it. I just feel like the deck is built in a way that doesn't allow me to leverage this cantrip on turn 1 very well. It's much better on this turn. But this still might be the card that I'm pitching to Force of Will. That's really awkward. I'm going to try to keep both Recruiter and Soulherder here. The Goose. How do I feel about the Goose? I don't really care about the Goose. Because I'll brickwall that eventually. Kinda want to pick a fight over it to get my opponent to fight over it. And then make it easier for these things to resolve. I think I'm going to pick a fight. I don't actually want to counter this spell. I want to get counter spells out of my opponent's hand proactively. Might be able to do something like grab a spell, pierce, and a daze this turn, or like force a will plus a blue card here. Yeah, okay. This is exactly what I wanted. Alright. So we'll go blue. Yeah, Legacy is free. The Goose is loose. Interesting that they chose to stifle the second land. Well, that's fine. It's not good for me. I go ahead and fetch here for the sake of fetching. I know that I need white with this hand. So I'm going to grab a snow-covered plains. This takes me off of Icefang Coatl, which isn't great. We're playing against Stifle Rug Delver. We have played around Wasteland. For you, yo, donation information to see your deck list on stream is below the stream if you are interested in that. The wait time is going to be about 2 weeks right now. Although there's no decks in the direct to YouTube queue currently. Alright, I am super glad that this Ether Vial has resolved. The Mongoose will probably be on either this turn or next turn. Probably this turn now. Delver is not particularly spooky for me. I'll remove it with Swords to Plowshares. I think I'll do it on my turn, because if they want to Force of Will or Force of Negation, that costs them 2 cards. Whereas Spell Pierce would cost them 1 card. Hello, Cooper, and welcome. Yeah, I mean, cards that have been effectively banned for the past year to 2 are free now in Legacy, and it's very refreshing. Also, like, Mongoose is still a 1/1. We've gotten pretty lucky on that front. We are going to be doing Vile Bluffs this game because we know our opponent has Stifle. So as of next turn, we're no longer in Brainstorm Lock. We're also going to be able to Recruiter of the Guard for Plague Engineer, which is huge. Just throwing it out there, this definitely could have been a game where my opponent wastelanded themselves and I would be dead already. Hmm. Yeah, so they had the option to do that last turn and they didn't. Because they could have just, like, main phase bolted me and then wastelanded. How am I playing this turn? I could just cast the Recruiter. Skyclave Delver. The best possible line is cast Recruiter, Recruiter resolves, get Plague Engineer name human or wizard, and then be able to Death Touch Nimble Mongoose. I'm gonna go ahead and go for that line because I am scared. I'm at 7. My life total is super relevant here. Oh wow, it worked. It'd be a Savage Stifle though. So I saw my opponent do start to pay costs, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to their turn and put in the Plague Engineer on their turn. Yeah. Oh, good. Delver didn't flip. That's so important. Wow, they had it all. Like, I needed one turn. One turn, Plague Engineer comes into play, kills Delver. Then I have 2 creatures in play. Yeah. Alright. I like Rest in Peace. I like Removal. I like Removal. I like Carpet of Flowers. Maybe we'll get this bad boy in here. And you... Probably. Alright, how do I feel about Force of Will and Force of Negation? I think I'm gonna have the same problem as last round, but in a different direction. Again, I don't have that many relevant turn 1 and 2 plays. I'm all endgame. So do I need Force of Will to bridge? I don't really want to be playing Force of Will. I just want to be playing a billion different annoying creatures that answer my opponent's stuff. I think on the play, I can get away with this. Maybe I need to keep this Knight. Like, it's a really good tutor target to help me get back out of bolt range if I stabilize. I think Eternal Witness is going to be really hard to cast. Unless I have Carpet of Flowers. Green seems rough against a Wasteland deck. Leasing at 19 creatures? I don't love that. Alright, I think this is happening. Ephemerate. Yeah, I could maybe trim Ephemerate. I have a good turn 2 play, so I'm going to be keeping this hand. And yeah, Kez, on the draw, I think I'm going to be going down on Ephemerates. And something else in order to get some Force of Wills back in there. Notably, there is a cost to playing around the Stifle here, in that if my opponent answers the first Rest in Peace and then Wastelands me, I can't cast the second. I really don't like these double pip cards in this deck. I don't feel like my mana... Oh, that's a really good draw. I don't know that my mana base supports a lot of these cards super well. Like right now, I have a green card that I can't cast, a black card that I can't cast, and before I ripped that Plains, I was one Wasteland away from being knocked off another color as well. This card's really important right now. Is it more important than Rest in Peace? Probably. Yeah, fine and Andy. I think that's a great way to put it. Like this feels like an Astrolabe mana base, but the fixer is gone for it. Now my opponent is gonna like play a young Pyromancer or something like that, and I'm just gonna be sad that I can't cast this Plague Engineer. Let me tell you, this Plague Engineer is real good right now. Kill the Delver while it's small, stick around to Death Touch away the Mongoose, or like cause them to use a Lightning Bolt on it. Alright. Cards aren't castable. Do I play Tundra? I think I play Tundra. Maybe I don't. Yeah, maybe I don't, because if I get Wastelanded and then draw a Skyclave, I can't cast it. Alright, yeah, let's go with no. Yeah, I think this one's just going to slip away to me not being able to cast my spells. And not because my opponent is countering them or denying me mana, just because, like, my lands aren't producing the mana required for me to cast my spells. Like, God, if I could cast this Plague Engineer. They probably have something like an Ancient Grudge. They're thinking about doing something. Yeah. Alright, well, we'll try. Grab the Flip Delver. I can now safely block Nimble Mongoose. Oh god, Lightning Bolt. Alright. I am in trouble. And the good news is, because of Rest in Peace, the Mongoose is never getting bigger, the Ancient Grudge isn't getting flashback to take my other vial. Alright. Let's see if I get stifled and lose. Alright. What is coming first? Plague Engineer? Probably the Plague Engineer. There's an argument for shifting Ceratops first, though, because I can Plague Engineer next turn and give shifting Ceratops reach. That might be more important. Take this line. This line also makes Plague Engineer uncounterable off of Vial next turn. And if that was my plan, maybe I should have just fetched something else. Okay, we held back some damage this turn. Vile Bluff here? I think I Vile Bluff Ice Fang Coatl here. Can't reach. Not yet. Reach, Trample, and Haste. The reach being the most relevant portion currently. What do I do regarding the Plague Engineer? This, like, moves his little head up a little bit. He's very tall. Very, very tall. Yeah, Kaz, that's what I'm thinking about. It's awkward to, like, show my hand early regarding Plague Engineer, but I think I need to just do that. Illusion here? Or Mongoose? I think I like naming Illusion, because if this game goes long, my opponent could get another. I'm just gonna hold this land. Oh, no, I'm not. Like, I could... There could be a world where I get stifled multiple times and I need this green mana. The way I lose this game now is now by taking 6 directly to the dome. I probably have the board stalled for the rest of the game. Always a no to this now. Fair. How many bolts are in exile? 1. There's probably 3 bolts and 1 chain lightning. Opponent has found the... other Mongoose to punish me for not putting this on Mongoose. Oh, let's go always no to that again. I have to reset that because I accidentally hit F6 instead of F2. Oh, excuse me. And my opponent could still have like a bolt or a pyroblast effect or something here to mess this up. But if they don't, oh buddy. Oh, we got it. Now, notably, that makes Soulherder a big mothy boy real quick because of Rest in Peace here. Nice. Oh shit. Oh wait, hold on. I don't care about this, right? This says no text currently. Yeah, that has no text currently. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm in a good spot. Attack for 6. Attack for everything. Attack for everything. I have 2 different ways to untap shifting Ceratops. One is Soulherder, the other is Ephemerate. Is that too greedy? It would take Bolt plus Counterspell plus Bolt. Okay, I guess I only have one way of untapping Ceratops. I go ahead and just crash in. I think I'm good with putting my opponent on a 2-turn clock. Uh, like, it's these two for sure. I don't know, if I play Ephemerate and they have, like, Force of Will plus Bolt. Oh no, I don't die because I could blink Plague Engineer, put it on human, and then that's only 5 damage. Yeah, okay, I'm fine with this now. It's okay. Delver attacks for 2. That's, like, we did this line knowing that that can happen. They have to have another Bolt. because Clothis does nothing. Yeah. I wouldn't have taken that line if I was dead to Bolt plus uh, Force of Will. I only took it because the math works out that we end up at 1. And if they have double Bolt anyway, that's beating me. So this card is pro blue, and Soulherder is blue. That's why. So on the draw, I think some number of Ephemerates need to come out just for being slow. And I think I need some number of Force of Wills. I can also be thinking about the other Knight of Autumn on the draw. I think that's probably an okay substitution on the draw. And now at this point, I kind of want more Force of Wills, but I also don't want to drop too many more creatures. Jailer seems unrealistic on the draw. I will buy that. I will drop one more creature for 1 Force of Will. Good night, and thank you. I will be keeping an Ether Vial hand basically every time. I can't cast my 2-drop on turn 2 though, which is awkward. Yeah, I don't think the mana base of this deck supports the cards that are in the deck. And I think we're also too light on 2-drop plays for Legacy standards. So the good news is I have a whole bunch of cantrips to try to string this hand together if this Aether Vial doesn't resolve. Oh, I don't love this hand. This hand is fine. But that's all that it is. This hand has major problems. Like, a Wasteland is going to be very good against me. A Stifle later will be very good against me. I can't put any pressure on my opponent. I have 2 removal spells, one of which isn't castable, one of which doesn't remove some of my opponent's threats, like Nimble Mongoose and True Name Nemesis. Um... This turn is really hard. The Icefang Coatl doesn't have Death Touch yet, but it can still trade with Nimble Mongoose. I think I'm going to go for that. When I can't guaranteed fetch, these 3 cards are of lesser value. The one downside of doing this Icefang Coatl based play is that my opponent can hardcast Daze on their turn. I don't care if I trade with something like a Bolt. I don't like trading with Daze there. Yeah, that's fine. Brainstorm. I think I brainstorm and then play ponder to shuffle in most cases. I'm really far away from casting a white-white card. The white-white card also doesn't really matter right now. I'm going to toss Skyclave away. And ponder, I guess. Now do I want to open myself up to Stifle? I have more lands. It's not the end of the world if I get stifled here. Okay. So I have blue-green. I can just get the plains, then I have all my basics. Good with that, I think. Means that I can't cast the Ponder this turn. That's fine, though. No, I'm gonna keep the swords. Like, I'm gonna answer this Mongoose eventually, and I want to have something for, like, the... Probably not Hooting Mandrills with Mongoose around, but maybe Hooting Mandrills or Young Pyromancer or Delver. It's the second threat here that I really care about. Oh, no, no, nope, 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 nope! One has 6 cards in Graveyard, so they can be live next turn for the Goose. This is very good. I kind of unfortunately need to make a decision about whether or not I'm going to cast it now. Like, playing out this Tundra is really awkward. I can probably wait one turn to play it off of Ether Vial. I want the Soulherder, but I do not want those 2 lands. I'm going to shuffle. And... let's convert this into a land while I can play around Stifle. I'm not sure if I want second blue or second green. I'm going to take second blue because shifting Ceratops is really the only card that makes me care. I'm red? I don't look red. Yep. I guess that's resolving. I can't Ice Fang Coatl into Force of Will plus answer. I am going to go ahead and cast this now. Now that that Sylvan Library is in play, I have got to, like, get moving. Petty Theft? I mean, I accept that. Really glad I have another white source. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and put in the Ice Fang Coatl. Oh, Rest in Peace is really good too, but Skyclave is more important. Cannot give them a single turn with a Sylvan Library. And again, just pointing out mana-based things. I have 2 mana left and cannot cast either one of my cards. Alright. Hello and welcome. That's kind of daggers. That's a rough last card for them to have. I also probably don't get to, like, bluff Vial activations anymore. I just need to conserve my clock. Now my opponent can hardcast a Force of Will if that's something they want to do. That's pretty insane. Yeah, we dodged Force of Will. Now we'll see if we dodge, like, Lightning Bolt and Pyroblast. Uh, so that probably effectively kills me. My opponent's last couple of, like, cards in these, like, I have 1 card left situations were really rough for me. I have to chump block Soulherder on Mongoose this turn in order to stay alive. Really? Really? Alright. I don't usually complain, but that is a series of fucking cards. Holy shit. Like, I had 3 just back-breaking turns in a row, and my opponents one of each time just dealt with the specific situation they were in. Wow. So what was going to happen this turn is I was going to Recruiter for Plague Engineer, play Bayou from hand, cast Plague Engineer, kill this, and then I have 3 bodies in play, one of which Death Touch, and so that stabilizes me from that. Admittedly, the top of the library isn't very good. We probably lose to a Bolt at some point this game. But, man. Alright, I'll be keeping this hand. We have a reasonable mix of lands and spell. Oh yeah, I bullied Delver. I got there versus Steel Stompy. I lost to Elves. I lost to Grixis Control. I don't remember if there was another one in there. Any of this stuff good right now? I already have one Recruiter to find Plague Engineer. I don't know that Force of Will is actually good, because I want to play this Icefang Coatl to cantrip and maybe force my opponent to use a Mom. Would I Force of Will Stoneforge Mystic? I'd probably Force of Will a Stoneforge Mystic here. Yeah. I think as long as I shuffle and don't hit a land, the shuffle is probably better. No, I did not have the chat open at all. It was definitely too hard to just like focus on the webcam. To focus on the webcam magic. Like look at a computer screen while looking at my playmat sort of thing. Just protection from instants at first. I think my opponent's probably going to sink 3 mana into that this turn. 4 mana into that this turn. And then I can Ice Fang, I'll make them block, and then I can bounce either it or Mom back to their hand with Reflector Mage. This game is going to be really awkward. I don't mean this to sound bad, but I don't really have an interest in playing Paper Magic over a webcam unless I'm doing it as guest content for someone. Like, if I'm going to be playing Magic online, I would much rather have the capability, oh, that's really good, of recording. Oh no, I'm not Death Touchy yet, am I? I'm not Death Touchy yet. That's awkward. Okay. Oh yeah, like, the offer is appreciated. But if I'm going to be spending extra time playing Magic online, I want to make sure that I can record it and turn it into content and monetize it. All right, how do I deal with this thing getting protection from? Yeah, my opponent did the same thing. as I did. They were actually like trying to remember how many lands it was for Death Touch for Coatl before they made their attack. Okay. So my opponent is going to have a Hex Trigger with protection from everything, and I don't know how to beat that. Like, I don't know conceptually what my plan has to be to beat that. It will just get me dead in 3 turns. And I can't represent double Swords to Plowshares or anything. Hey, I think I'm just dead to the Hex Drinker. The only way that I can win is by becoming the aggro and somehow making a Soulherder that's big enough to kill my opponent. Alright. There's something I really don't like about this plan, and that's that I have to play a non-basic here, which can just get wastelanded in order to get this Soulherder into play. So I'm not going to be able to double spell anytime soon. Oh no! Oh no. Alright, we're done. Alright, we're done as soon as the Soulherder, or sorry, as soon as the Hex Drinker is at 8. Alright. Going for it? Yep, alright. We're gonna concede to that. Freak, no. So they can block, tap Mom, and then we can source the Plowshares, remove Mom, and then Soulherder can get in there in future turns. Alright, what do we want versus Maverick? Big dumb card. Big dumb card. Busted card. Probably this. Maybe this. I can think about Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace is medium. It keeps Knights from being big, which is cool. Yeah, these 3 cards are the, like, these are playable category. I think I'm just going to drop counter spells and play these. I think between Icefang, Coatl, and Plague Engineer, like, the Knights aren't the biggest deal. Yep. I cannot overstate how good this Ether Vial is. This deck is so mana hungry. And just, yeah, straight up, that's a Shriekmaw. Whoever said Shriekmaw gets the bingo here. For the sake of mana efficiency, I am going to Brainstorm. I am not casting this Brainstorm because I think it makes my turn significantly better most of the time. Vayu is going back. Then the other card's pretty tricky. I think it's Skyclave. I think the second vial is going to be good. Unless I get Collector oofed. But if my opponent plays Library, I want to have this. Maybe just leave it on top of the deck. I think I ordered that correctly. Alright, Arbor? Well, at least for right now, I'm very happy with where this game stands. Alright, I now know that there is a land on top of my library. Do I want that? I don't know that I do want that. My fetching. It's crazy complicated. Nathan, thank you very much for the host. For those of you just tuning in, hello, I'm Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU. Today we are playing a Bant Soulherder list. It's been a hell of a trip so far. I think my opponent has a Swords to Plowshares. That's just what my, gut is screaming right now. And because of that, I'm just going to take plays this turn that are good against Swords to Plowshares. Why did I get the second island? Because unless I get Collector oofed, I'm going to spend the rest of the game playing all of my creatures off of Aether Vial, not casting them. And what do I need to cast? I need to cast cantrips, and that's probably about it. So I would rather have the ability to double cantrip than the ability to hard cast Skyclave Apparition right now. And Tarmagoat, thank you very much for your support as well. My opponent's start is exceptionally fair. I think I am just going to bury them in cards. Best of luck with that, Nathan. Moving is stressful. I hope it all works out for you. How aggressive do I get this turn? Pretty aggressive. I'm gonna end this one real quick. Jailer? Another Soul Herder? A Plague Engineer? The world is my oyster here. Let's not show them Plague Engineer. I'll grab another Skyclave. I could think about what I should actually get there a little bit harder, but I think we're in, like, garbage time where I've just won this one, and so I'm not gonna, like, fret it too much. Grabbing another Soulherder would have been fine, but, like, I have this Eternal Witness to get back most things. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and nudge you out of the way. Back for a bunch. Play a new vial. And then I can hold up Eternal Witness to grab a Swords to Plowshares or a Skyclave Apparition. Alright, we can dismiss that Shriekmaw now. Probably is just gonna give them that. That's fine. Tap this. Yes. Eternal Witness. Trigger. I'm just gonna return the Swords to the Plowshares. I'm gonna get their token out of the way so I can just continue beating. That's this one. I'll say no to that. And this one I'll say yes to. I haven't quite exhausted my resources yet, but I'm close. I do need a source of card advantage. Good old free Scrub Ranger. Yeah, go for it, Nathan. That's fine. Plague Engineer. That's pretty good. So always no to that one. Yes to this one. That's fine. I'll put you in the queue and then message you for an exact 75 before I actually stream it. I figured that's what it was going to be. It'll be about 2 weeks. The vigilance here is really good. That's going to shut down my aggro plan. Yeah, I'm Eastern. Alright, I'm now officially at the point where I need a new card advantage engine. Go ahead and... no, we'll just temporarily say no to that. Because once I get things going again, I will want another Vial on 3. Alright, Skyclave? Darnell Witness. Skyclave Awake Questing Beast. Oh no, they have Caracas. Oh, that's super annoying. That still might be the line, though. And then just, like, try to make an Alpha Strike for lethal the following turn. Do I like that? Yeah, Questing Beast has a lot of words. Who's the beatdown? Me. I am the beatdown. Alright, so my opponent is willing to lose 2 creatures here to pad their life total. They can replay Beast. They have a second green off Noble Hierarch. That's a great draw. Now we can just find something to answer the Questing Beast for 1 turn. These cards are insane. I think Recruiter is the best of these. I would have thought about this turn a little bit more. I could have realized that I had Palace Jailer um, and Viled in Recruiter instead. Fetched, cast Palace Jailer, and also become the Monarch for additional value. That was a better line. Yeah, I mean, the brainstorm was going to be good the vast majority of the time, right? So we hit like Ephemerate, Swords, Brainstorm, Ponder, the 2 Ice Fangs, the 2-ish Recruiters, the 1 Skyclave. The Plague Engineer is not bad either. The Deputy, a Soulherder, a Knight, a Palace Jailer, a Ceratops. Like, that brainstorm was going to be good. Like, the only cards that were bad were basically, like, lands and vials, and everything else was just fire. Yep, stream sniping sucks, but you know, if it happens to you, that's a sign that you're a big enough deal that people know who you are, and that's worth something. Stream sniping is one of those things that just like kills your energy as a content producer. Muffin Twitch chat is good. It's birthday cake flavored. Oh, all right. This one's fine then. Oh man, this hand's really awkward. I have two cantrips I can't cast, but a really good Ether Vial curve. I'm gonna keep this. If Vial gets answered and I don't draw a blue source in 2 turns, I'm in trouble. Otherwise, this hand's pretty good. The hand is 100% a keep with an island. This keep errors on the side of being a little bit greedy. If this was a like serious tournament, I would have mulliganed that hand. But it's not. Like we're playing a league. I'll take the high risk, high reward hand. Abrupt Decay and punish me for my greed. Yeah, I mean, Collector Oof after Mom would be pretty rough. Oh, they naturally had it. Daggers. Alright. Life's bad. Life's okay again. So Wasteland is not the best for me. I need to ponder and make sure I hit another land. Preferably multiple lands. Yep. I'm not playing in a challenge, I'm just playing in a league. We're just having some fun playing Legacy, which is great again. Oh, we're gonna lose the Hex Drinker again, huh? We're gonna lose the Hex Drinker again. Yeah. Hmm. Ice Fang Koala also doesn't have Death Touch. And that's huge. Like, this is the second or third time that's come up in the league where, like, we've played an Ice Fang Koala and it's not yet all Death Touchy. Because, like, we don't have just Arkham's Astrolabe to accelerate out that portion of it anymore. And it stings. Yeah, I think I'm just dead. I'll take a redraw here and just take a look, but yeah, I don't Death Touch. If I Death Touched, I could, like, play to Swords to Plowshares off the top as an out, but I don't have that capability here. Always no to that, but I think I'm just conceding after this draw. Yeah, like, this gets protection from everything, and then I'm dead to it in 2 turns. Yep. Let's scoop it up. GG. Okay, my opening hand for this round is really unplayable. Like, we have removal, but that's it. I don't even know what this hand is good against. I'm going to keep it. I'll bin this, because it's most likely to be a dead card here. But this is a, like, Brainstorm needs to save this hand or I'm going to die situation for sure. I'm not going to fire off a Brainstorm on turn 1. Again, I don't have good 2-drop plays. I will fire off a Brainstorm here to see if I can hit a fetch. And I did. I also hit a Vial. But playing against Show and Tell, I really want this Reflector Mage. Alright. I need this. I need this. The rest of the hand is good. I can probably put back the Brainstorm. And I'm going to put back the Reflector Mage. I could keep everything on top. I think I'm okay with this, though. I'm not going to play around Wasteland. So I've left myself with the ability to Force of Will something that kills me, and then Recruiter to find the answer to whatever I need to be doing. But my role in this matchup is currently very unclear. Alright. Could be looking at something like Grixis Control. Could be looking at a Storm deck. Alright, it's a control deck. They took Recruiter, probably. Not 100%. Again, with the spells I can't cast. I'm just gonna hold Soulherder so that I have the ability to Force of Will a Planeswalker or something like that that comes down. Asper Control? Asper Stoneblade? The Whale. You know I have this. Alright. White? Whoa. Thank God, because otherwise we were basically facing down a 3/3 flying Dreadhorde Arcanist. Whew. So the bad news is I lose this Vial, and Eternal Witness is going to stay uncastable. Eternal Witness is going to be gone. Yeah, we are straight up playing against Esper Stoneblade. My position is very bad. My opponent is going to have 5 power a turn. So, always no to that. I think I've lost this one. But there's a world where I get a string of value creatures and get myself out of this. Yikes. I'm playing out this Soulherder here in hopes of being able to do something cool next turn, and my opponent not having Swords to Plowshares. That's okay. Yeah, good game. Hex Drinker was not something I was able to beat. I just like had no outs to that thing once it had been leveled up. All right, we're dead. Yeah, so here's what you're looking at. It's a basically Bant Soulherder deck. It also has Plague Engineer though. Oh, I 100% believe it. Like threats that are not easily answered by the removal of the format are very good right now. Alright, what do I want against this Stoneblade deck? I'll take the Pithing Needle for equipment. I'll take an uncounterable big. I'll take this. Do I need to respect True Name Nemesis by playing Plague Engineer? Probably. Carpet Flowers is probably really good. Alice Jailer would be bad against True Name Nemesis, but very good against a lot of the other stuff. I don't think I'm going to be playing counter spells. I think I'm going to be playing to the board fairly. Maybe I don't need 2 Plague Engineers, maybe 1 is fine. I don't think I rest in peace for the whale. I think it's more important to keep my creature count high. If my opponent played 2 whales in, was that like 5 or 6 turns, they might have a playset of them. In which case, it's reasonable to play Rest in Peace. I think I'll submit as is. I have other tools that I can bring in. When I get a better feel for what my opponent's deck list looks like, I can readjust. I'll keep this. This just needs to go back because it's slow here. If my opponent is playing Wasteland, they can get me real good here. Wasteland's going to be good against me. A Force of Will on this Ether Vial is going to be good against me. And I'm not going to set myself up for my Ice Fangs to have Death Touch because I need my colors more than I need the Death Touch. Ice Fang's Coatl is just like so noticeably down in the format with Astrolabe gone. I don't think I'm brainstorming this turn. I think I'm just going to be playing an Ice Fang Coatl. I can do the Ice Fang Coatl for free next turn. Maybe that's a reason to brainstorm. It's like not a good brainstorm. I just miss out on 1 point of damage, but then I can use my Vial. Alright, I'll do it. Don't need swords immediately. Let's bury that. Alright, do I want the swords? I guess I will take the swords. This lets me effectively get deeper with Ponder, too. The awkward thing about the swords, and the reason why I buried it, is I can't really, like, Ponder and then do something else in addition this turn. I think this stuff is too similar to what I already have. I kind of just want, like... Like, this stuff is not good if my Vial gets destroyed. I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle and try to find a land. Alright, another Vial is fine. Although that does walk into the EE that I already know exists. Wildfire, thank you very much for a year now. Thank you very much for that support. Hope you've been enjoying the stream. My opponent hasn't played any spells yet, which is a little spooky. Take the E-Wit value now, I think. I think I want Ponder. Do I want to leave up Swords of Plowshares? No. I just want to find something like a Soulherder here. Nope. Pass. I think this is an okay time to just pass. I probably have a little bit too much pressure on board for my opponent to just slam something like a Jace. Disenchant that vial? Yeah, that's fine. All right, that's the card I wanted. It's a shame I can't like force of will to protect it, but I don't know that it is correct for me to wait to play it. Like, I'm fine if I get the 2-for-1 of this removal spell. I think I'm just gonna take hard. My opponent had a removal spell. They should have used it already. Oh, wow. Rough. Like obviously you would bring in Zealous Persecution against this deck, but like conceptually I wasn't even thinking about that because like I have so many like X2 and X3 creatures. I just happen to have all tiny stuff there. All right. We have a Plague Engineer for that. And I have a Swords of Plowshares for that. I might not even Swords to Plowshares it, honestly. Reflector Mage on it is pretty good value. Don't need another Vial. And I don't need this land. Do I want to have white? No, I want to be able to spam through cantrips, I think. Let's cast this Swords to Plowshares. I would like to see if they have Force plus blue card, because if I get Force plus blue card out of their hand, and then I Reflector Mage afterwards, that's kind of backbreaking. Diogo, thank you very much for following. Oh. And Venex Storm, thank you very much for following as well. The awkward thing here is that like I have these two creatures that I don't really want to play right now. I'm kind of hoping my opponent plays something like a sword that I want to actually answer. Yeah, so they could go for Jitte this turn, go for Jitte equip, and then I'll Skyclave. Alright, so now I need to find an answer to this true name. Always no to that at this point. I don't think I'm doing anything to that Stoneforge. I think I'm just holding back my Skyclave. I'm operating under the assumption that I will draw like a Plague Engineer or a Recruiter or something that lets me overpower this. And I'm not attacking. If this turns into a racing scenario, it's very awkward that I didn't, like, start turning my creatures sideways sooner. This is Brainstorm fodder. I don't know, maybe that's not true since I've used 2 Brainstorms already. Shape, thank you very much for following. Hope you're enjoying the content. I am on the back foot here. Now my opponent is just going to look for some sort of, like, maybe Force of Will effect to be closer to locking this up. Mm. I am running out of time. I think we're just getting beat down by True Name. And it's not like Swords to Plowsharing my own Skyclave actually nets me anything because, like, that gives them a 2/2 that just gets to attack as well. Alright. Green, blue? Uh, hey. Uh, Awkward house of cards here. I have desperation plays as of next turn, but I'm hoping not have to use them because they're not pretty. Thank you, deck. All right. Current plan is Swords to Plowshares, my own Skyclave, activate Vial, put in Reflector Mage. Reflector Mage exiles the token. This is not how I want to be using my cards. And I have to draw either Recruiter or Plague Engineer this turn. Yeah, having a Jisei would be pretty good right now. Not gonna lie. Alright, I lose the Skyclave. If my opponent has a Force of Will, they Force of Will any cantrip that I play, and I die. I can't fetch anymore. Life's bad. Oh, and it's a fairy? That's, that's probably GG right there. I don't think I beat that. I don't have 6 mana for, like, Recruiter into Plague Engineer, so I'd have to naturally draw the Plague Engineer. And it also looks like my opponent also just has an Ethereal Forager. Oh, it was rough. Opponent's deck was sweet. So everyone knew that Delve threats were going to be better post-banning. Like, that's no surprise to anyone involved. Ethereal Forager is just kind of the ones that's questionable. Because if it's removed, it feels so bad and worse than most of the other Delve creatures. Because, like, it has 2 colored pips, right? So you need blue in order to cast it. Whereas something like Hooting Mandrills or Gurmag Angler can be a 1-drop when you need it to be a 1-drop, and this one can't do that. And the fact that it dies to like Bolt and Swords to Plowshares and a lot of the common removal spells in the format put it in sort of a really weird spot. All right, my hand is unexciting. I have lands and spells, but this, like, I can't use the Force of Negation. I have no turn 2 play. I have no turn 1 play. I don't think this hand actually does anything. I'm gonna mulligan. Keep. I don't think I get to 2 for 1 myself with this hand. Yeah, like, I'm getting my butt kicked today, but the games of Magic are really fun and interactive. But I think the reason I'm getting my butt kicked today is because the deck list I'm playing is bad. I think there's a lot of fundamental problems with this deck list. If I can cast this Plague Engineer on turn 3, I probably win. And if I can't, I probably lose. Luckily, this deck has a perfect mana base, and I shouldn't expect any problems. Alright, I am looking very specifically for a fetch land. I'm going to play this the way that gives me the most looks at a fetch land, but the consequence of me playing this way is that I will get Brainstorm locked if I don't find the fetch land. Okay, I found it. I'll put back Vial, and I'll hide Plague Engineer on top. We're hopefully going to get a 3 for 1 on my turn. Really? Oh, am I actually playing against Maverick? Am I playing against Nick Fit? I'm real confused. Is this just Nick Fit and the Allosaurus Shepherd is a one of? And I just like got totally juked on turn one? Yeah, okay. Opponent is understandably pretty confused about what I'm doing. That's fair. Yep. We are playing against Nick Fit. And my Plague Engineer that I hit on top now gets shuffled away in hasty justice. They named True Nemesis with Cabal Therapy. Alright, so I'm going to grab a blue and a white. Now I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm. I want to shuffle away one land, and then I'll hide the card that they know about. And I'll fire that off there. So now, if they name Force of Will, they can get a hit. Otherwise, I'm safe. All right, they named the Force of Negation that they knew about. That's fair. All right, do you have something like an Abrupt Decay as a follow-up? Oh no! Oh no! Not very prepared to deal with that. A fetch now, just so I don't forget to do it. Yeah, Plague Engineer is my out to this card. I can also Knight of Autumn to get rid of it. But like right now, this card threatens to make a whole lot of advantage. Oh, I forgot about Skyclave. Alright, maybe this isn't as bad as I thought. I'm gonna take my trade here. Emmanuel, thank you very much for following. Alright. Draw something hot. Alright, I can E-Wit for another counterspell. That's cool. My opponent's Bojuka Bog here is strangely relevant, because I could have gotten a cantrip, and a cantrip almost certainly finds me an answer to Bitter Blossom, or at least another cantrip to look again. Don't want to force a will that. You got it. I also don't really want to force of negation or try to hold out for something better. Answering this Bitter Blossom is such a huge deal right now that if I find a cantrip, I want to be able to rebuy it. Alright. If I can get this Bitter Blossom off the board, I can probably lock off the rest of the game with ease. That is an if, though. Aylette, thank you very much for following. Do I want to thin my deck of lands? No. I want my Eternal Witness alive. Or Ephemerate. I'll counter this. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to counter it. Straight up Nick Fit curses, huh? I don't think I need to leave up Ephemerate this turn. I have a Tundra in my deck if I do need to fetch. Alright, I am running out of time to answer my opponent's Bitter Blossom. Like, it's very much starting to get to the point where if I answer the Bitter Blossoms, the Fairy Rogues will still just beat me. I don't think I, like, fetch just to thin here. Like, I can try to get some Ephemerate value going, but I'd rather just have that card in hand in case I can do something better with it. Deck, please. Like... This has been rough. Yeah, I've drawn 9 of 20 lands. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. Two were gifted to me. Yeah, so we're looking for Plague Engineer and Recruiter now. Respect the hustle. Do I Ephemerate? Can Ephemerate pick up Force of Will and Force of Negation? If I do that, I can't Ephemerate an Ice Fang Coatl to get a redraw. I'm not going to do that. Fuck! Taking 5 in the air. I can block Veteran Explorer this turn. Oh, I sure can counter all the spells. The Swag Jesus, thank you very much for following. Yeah, I mean, that Bojuka Bog did beat me. I will fully own up to that fact. Which is weird, because, like, Bojuka Bog, in theory, shouldn't really be that good against me. I hardly use my graveyard. I can get the Plague Engineer into play, though, after all this, and steal a win. That would be justice. Alright, go to 1. Theoretically shouldn't need to fetch. I have 6 mana, so I could do something like cast a Recruiter into a Plague Engineer. I also have the Vial. I still have Hardcast Force. How is the deck doing? Oh, well, the deck is losing. I think there's big deck building problems with this. Very possible that this turn I actually want Force of Negation instead of Force of Will. Belchmaster, thank you very much for your continued support. That is a crazy streak you've got going there. Oh, yeah! Oh, baby. I did this wrong. It probably doesn't matter, but I was supposed to hard cast the Recruiter and then vial in the Plague Engineer on my opponent's upkeep after their trigger had resolved. Oh, all right. Don't think we're quite at the point where I get to showboat. I'm really glad that my opponent is playing badly. Uh, just being honest here. If my opponent played better and just didn't throw away all of their spells into my counter magic that they know about, I couldn't have won this one. No, I want to save Ephemerate for the Recruiter. I don't know what I need to beat yet, but Ephemerate will let me get there. Right, but I'm going to get another turn in all likelihood. Unless my opponent just Collective Brutalities my dome. Wonder if their draw was Overwhelming Splendor. Alright. You have an Academy Rector. That's fine. Soulherder. We find with Soulherder. Grab Soulherder. Manually cast it. Blink Recruiter. Grab Skyclave. Skyclave Rector. Fine. The world is my oyster here. Oh, that's also just really good. Let's do that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 6 mana available to Ephemerate Eternal Witness and grab Force of Will. So that means that I should just vial this in. I also should have put Soulherder in first. So they got a counter when I exiled their critter. I don't think that matters. I think I probably kill next turn most of the time. But, you know, play tight when it matters, and I didn't do that. I have a lot of triggers. Yeah, it's game 1. Alright. I need disenchant effects. I like Palace Jailer. I want another one of those. I probably want another one of these. Rest in peace is a thing. So here's the thing, though. I kind of like them accelerating my mana because I'm a clunky deck. I'm not sure if I'm actually supposed to board in Rest in Peace. I think I'm going to trim one of those. I think I'm going to trim one of these. I think I'm going to trim two of those. And now the question is, like, is Rest in Peace good enough? Four Swords to Plowshares for Rectors, plus 4 counter spells that can counter them. Plus the 2 Skyclaves that I'm keeping. Maybe Reflector Mage isn't great. Let's try this without playing any Graveyard Hate and see how it feels. And is poopy. Gotta go back. Hand's also unplayable. Hand's also unplayable, but I'm going to keep it on 5 cards. If my opponent has a decent start, I might straight up just concede this game since I mulled to 5 and save all my clock for the next game. Because I'm in bad shape being down 2 cards against a deck that can go so big. There's no need to, like, try to mess with my opponent's clock when I'm, like, so far behind. That probably ends up hurting me more than anyone. I think that just has to resolve. I don't think I can 2 for 1 myself. I'm going to brainstorm in response to this, but it's mostly so that I can figure out what on earth I'm doing. Okay, I'll Skyclave it. Great. Put back Force of Negation. No. Put back Land and Force of Negation. We're getting a white source with the other one. I need green here. I can get green and black simultaneously. That's fine, but leaves me in a spot where I can't really hardcast Force of Negation until I fetch again. Should have played Windswept Heath there to fetch planes. I'm trying to move quickly-ish, so I'm not spending very much time thinking about optimizing lines here. Oh, I don't know the ruling on like how Porphyry Nodes is going to work with like Ephemerate. Because there is a single moment where nothing's in play. I think I just let this go though. I'll let them have their wonky, slow Source the Plowshares-esque quality card. I probably need to decide very quickly whether or not I can win this game, because if I can't win this game, I need to concede and save my clock for the next one. But this Ephemerate can draw me a lot of cards here. That's really good. That's also really good. I like this Ice Fang Coatl doing an Ancestral Recall impression. Alright. So my plan is force something that is terrifying, and then set up Soulherder for Recruiter or Ice Fang every turn. Porphyry Nodes is not terrifying, but it's going to eat up too much of my clock and be annoying, so I think I'm just going to get rid of that. I'm playing suboptimally for F6 value. I mean, F-Freak, I think this deck just needs to be retooled. I don't think it's viable as is. It doesn't have enough early plays. The mana is bad. It really only has game if the opposing deck isn't trying to kill you quickly. And it also just struggles to close games quickly. Like, this is the second round today where I've been close to timing out just because it takes me so long to actually win a game. Part of that is me not having familiarity with my deck, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to attack with very small creatures in order to close this game. I'm going to have a lot of mana, so I will make good use of all the cards that I'm drawing. I hope I can turn around and start being the beatdown this turn. I don't know if I'm quite going to be there yet, but I hope so. Also, holy crap, this league has taken forever. I think I'm now committed more or less to trying to win this game. I think there's a pretty likely chance that I do that, but if my opponent has a sweeper, I don't. I'm not super expecting my opponent to have a sweeper, since they're playing Porphyry nodes. Alright, Abrupt Decay on Soulherder is pretty good. Oh, that's insane. Send them. I'm not expecting haste creatures from my opponent. If they questing beast me or something, so be it. Alright, that's pretty good. I'm still the Monarch. I will not play Ether Vial here. That eats up too much of my time. Yeah, I think it's probably safe to say that they do not have Bitter Blossom in their deck right now. Alright. That's not great for me. That means I can't attack right now. Need to find a way to exile that. I found a way. Put back 2 Ether Vials. Alright, Moto Lag, come on. Oh, right, the Knight of Souls Betrayal. Shit, forgot about that. That's fine. Should have just recruited for Knight of Autumn immediately. Could have played that this turn. But again, I'm not really thinking about my plays very much right now. I'm just trying to get over the finish line. That's pretty good. I don't really know how I beat that Ugin. I think I'm dead to that. No, I don't have Deputy. Maybe I just concede and try to win a game 3 in a minute and 30 seconds with a giant Soulherder. Yeah, let's do that. Alright. To win this game in this amount of time, I can't ever hold up counter magic. I'm gonna board those out and just board in a pile of creatures. I guess rest in peace too. God, yeah, I also can't play Vile. Rough. Alright, just 2 one-landers in a row. Well, thank you very much. Alright, there's a Soulherder. I am a teacher, so I have a ton of experience, like, making sure that I explain things clearly and eloquently. Alright, Moto, I can't deal with 5 seconds of lag when I fetch here. My time went up. Fine and Andy, you've gifted 63 gift subs in this channel. It's insane. Thank you very much for that. Oh, I randomly lost like 10 seconds there. Alright, I'm just gonna concede. Alright, let's not beat around the bush here. This deck was pretty terrible. It has so many problems. It has very few playable 2-drops. It doesn't have very much interaction. The mana base was very much stretched. Uh, it really only takes off in the very late game. You're kind of soft game 1 versus combo. This is not a deck that sets you up for success. It's fine to play around with cool ideas, but it feels like this deck takes on a lot of the problems of Espervile, which is like, it's slow, it's bad mana, it has trouble finishing games, and in addition to that, like, it makes the mana base worse, it adds in a 4th color, and many of the symbols are double pips, and there are even more things in the sideboard that have double pips. And ultimately, I think that leaves this deck in a place where it's just not feasible to try something like this with how it stands now. Ice Fang Coatl, like, very regularly did not have Death Touch throughout the course of this league because I needed to fetch non-basics in order to have my colors. I There's probably room to improve this deck, but like, the very first thing I would do is cut a color for sure. I I I don't like it. I don't like it. Uh, I don't think I can really be on board with on thin ice. Like, again, there are these situations where you have to fetch these non-basic lands early in order to cast your spells, right? So I don't think the small buff of being able to like enable Ice Fang Coatl a little bit faster is worth the blowout potential that otherwise exists. But yeah, as of right now, I think Espervile is a better deck than this, and I don't have a high opinion of Espervile. So I hope I have given you some thoughts for how to improve the deck, Ian. All right, for those of you who watched this on the YouTube end, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, throw me a like, throw me a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Those sorts of things really help me grow as a creator, and they mean more than you know. I'll be back again soon, YouTube folks.